Hello, my fifth period friends. I've been doing a lot of these videos for my honors classes, and I thought I'd try doing one for you and see how you like it. So, today we are teaching how to develop the equation for a linear equation from a word story. All these things that we've been learning about slope, rate of change, starting values they all really represent things that are happening in the world. Math is put together when we see patterns and relationships. So this is linear algebra basically, and the algebra is the study of these relationships in mathematics. So let's take a look. We know the slope-intercept form of an equation is y equals mx plus b. You can actually underline that on your paper. Y being the y value, the output we've talked about. M being your slope or your rate of change. X being your input. And B being your starting point. Remember, we stopped calling it y-intercept because that term just turned a lot of your heads. So we started calling B the starting point, which is what the y-intercept is. It's the starting point. And then we go our rise over run from there. So here again, we have y is the output, typically your totals. M is your slope or rate of change. X is your input that you multiply the slope by. And then plus B is your starting point. So as we go forward through these word stories, we're trying to figure out what in each of these stories goes where in this equation. So let's take a look at the first one. A computer repair shop charges a $25 fee, in addition to $40 per hour. So underline those two things. To service a computer. Write an equation to represent the total cost to service a computer. Identify your variables. So before you get started charging per hour, you're going to be charged a starting fee. And shops do that because they need to cover their basic expenses. They don't know if the person's only going to need an hour of service or 3 hours of service, but they have to charge enough money to pay for the electricity, the rental for their building, their employees. Like, they have to make a certain base amount of money. So oftentimes they'll charge a base fee and then they charge per hour on top of that fee. So our starting amount is plus 25. And then to that, 40 times x, where x is the number of hours of service. So if Mrs. Evans takes her computer in and has her computer serviced, and it takes 2 hours for them to do the work, then you multiply 2 times the $40 per hour, and you get $80, plus that $25 fee, you'll get a total of $105, or Y, the output, the total amount of money it's going to cost me to have my computer serviced. So what is the rate of change? The rate of change is $40 per hour. That's what their going rate is. What is the initial value? The initial value is the $25 fee. What is the independent variable? Well, I don't decide how many hours my computer needs to be serviced based on how much I want to pay. Okay, how much I pay is dependent on how many hours I need to have the computer fully fixed. Oops, I shouldn't do a dollar sign. This would be the independent variable is X, which is the hours of service. And then those hours combined with my fee and my rate all gives me my Y, my dependent variable, which is the total cost to have my computer fixed. Okay? And so you're going to see these recurring themes over and over and over again, each one of these stories. You'll get used to seeing it. That the fee, the $25 fee, it's not charged each hour that they do service. It's just a one-time charge for showing up in their shop. And so you don't multiply that against any variable. That's just a constant. It's one number that you don't have a variable attached to it. That's why it's the plus B. All right, let's take a look at the next one. An online photo printing shop charges 15 cents per print in addition to a $2.95 shipping charge. Okay, so let's take a look. Again, Y, whatever my total cost is going to be, is equal to whatever my rate is times X plus my initial fee. So these are the two things we're looking for. Is what's the rate and what is my starting amount? Okay. Well, that $2.95 shipping charge, even though I wouldn't think of it as a starting amount because it's really a final charge, it is still the flat fee I have to pay, upon which I will tack on my rate. And my rate is 0.15 per print. Okay? So what is the initial value? The initial value is going to be $2.95 because that's the shipping charge that's only charged once. The rate is the 15 cents per print. The independent variable is X, which is the number of prints. I'm going to have made. And the dependent, X is always independent, Y is always dependent. It's just what are they? Is the final cost. The final total. Okay? I want you to pause the video and try the next one on your own. Once you have it, unpause the video and then check your answer. Okay, Mark bought a season ticket to the ski resort for $395. However, he must pay $25 to rent skis each time he goes skiing. Write an equation to model the total cost that Mark will pay for skiing this season. All right, so which one of these is the one-time flat fee? Well, that would be the $395 that he's paying for his season ticket. Plus to that, he has to pay $25 per X, per the number of times he has to rent skis. Now, Mrs. Evans, you just put the Y on the wrong side. Well, we have commutative property, right? I mean, we can flip these things around as long as my starting amount and my rate stay together on the other side of Y, it doesn't matter. Also, I can flip my 395 and my 25x because commutative property says they can flip-flop, right? And it doesn't change the total amount. So I'm just trying to help you see it written differently, but it means the same thing. All right, so my starting amount is $395 plus $25 times each time I rent the skis is going to equal my total cost. So what is the rate of change? It's $25. What's the initial value? $395. What is the dependent variable? Well, it's always X. And what does it represent? Well, it represents the number of times, number of ski rentals, right? The number of times he has to rent skis. And then what is the dependent variable? It's not just the total cost, but it's the total cost for the season. Okay? So let's say he goes skiing 3 times. What will be his total cost? Well, we put in 3 for X. he has to rent the skis 3 times. And so 3 times 25 is 75. And $395 plus 75 is $370. So his total cost for the season would be, $470. $470. Okay, and that's how that works. You input a number like 3, and you get out your output. All right, let's see. Jane bought a car with 23,000 miles on it. She determined that she typically drives 12,000 miles per year. Write an equation to show the number of miles on Jane's car after each year she drives it. Please pause the video, try it on your own, come back, check your answer. Okay, assuming you've paused the video and now you're ready to check it. So the starting amount of mileage on Jane's car is 23,000 miles. Plus, she's going to drive 12,000 per year. When you hear per, you know you're multiplying per X. Okay, and that will give you Y, the total amount of miles on her car after each year she drives it. So what is the rate of change? 12,000 miles per year. What is the initial value? Well, they were starting with 23,000 miles in the car. What is the independent variable? Well, that's X. Well, what does X represent? The number of years owned. She owns the car. And what is Y? Y is the number of total. Oops, I'm really messing that up. Sorry about that. Let's try that again. Y is the number of total miles, right? Yes. Miles total that she's driven thus far. All right, I hope that helps. Keep going.